Hey folks, Simmons Says here. I'm back. Well, I'm Alex Simmons, so naturally I'm back at Simmons Says. And this one is one of my particular creative writing favorites. Title is Plot is Character and Character is Plot. Now, what do I mean by that? Well, okay, let me come at it this way. I even have it written down in one of my lessons that I teach, blow up anything or everything, in an action movie, or cut up everybody in sight in a horror film. If the audience doesn't care about the characters, then it's simply a special effects show. That's it. That's really all it is. How much gore can we do? How pretty are the explosions? Watching things flip and tumble and people, blood bags explode on their bodies and then sprawl all over the place. But that's it. I don't care about any of the people. Character is plot, plot is character. If you care about the characters, you're more involved in the story. As an example, okay, and this will probably mean that Bruce Willis and I will never be good buddies, but Die Hard, the very first one, loved it. There were the first three are the ones I'm thinking about at this moment, but the first one I loved it. It had everything. You have a New York City cop, street cop, a detective, flying to L.A., not on some major case, but to try and pull his marriage back together. His wife has got this high executive position with a huge corporation in Los Angeles. She's got the kids there, and he wants her back, and he wants the kids back, and he has no idea how he's going to pull this off. He's coming with sincerity, and that's about all he's got, so he's basically emotionally butt naked. And he gets there, and he makes that first step, and he's awkward, and he's really feeling out of his element, and then all hell breaks loose. Armed, thugs, thieves, a heist group takes over the whole building. The body counts are going up, and they're going to blow things up, and they want to rob X, Y, and Z, and he's the only thing between life and death for his wife there and for many of the hostages. As a matter of fact, trying to keep himself alive is a big deal. Now, that's the action part of it. But the real character development part of it is he's out of his element in terms of the relationship. His skill set is in being a police officer and fighting, criminals and all this kind of stuff. And he's doing his best, but he's getting beaten up, he's getting injured, and he's still trying. And he's striving to stay alive for her and, yes, for the hostages. And there's a connection between him and the police officers on the outside because the building's barricaded and all that. And they develop a bond because that police officer's backstory is he has some emotional baggage, and Bruce Willis's character has some emotional baggage, and they can only communicate via headphones and walkie-talkies and everything, but they're building a bond there. So there's relationships in jeopardy. Their lives in jeopardy. The clock is ticking. All this action is happening, but it's still about these people. Who's going to survive? And even if they do survive this, what's going to happen with the relationship? Yeah, maybe you can project certain things, but the bottom line is there's more than one level to the story. You care about the action adventure. You can enjoy all of that because there's plenty, but then you can also care about the characters. Die Hard 2, his wife is still in that one. Still love the characters. I loved her in both films. She was great, right? Die Hard 3, she's not there. And the moment the film started, I knew she wasn't going to be there. I knew the marriage had come apart. I knew this. And for basically 85 minutes, it's a body count film. I didn't care. I mean, no offense to Samuel L. Jackson. Love to watch him and stuff too. But the bottom line is I didn't care. There was nothing at stake emotionally. Really nothing. And so you can have a plot and you can move your characters through the plot with, whatever kind of intent and intensity that you want. But if the audience doesn't care what happens to anybody, if they're ignoring it, and just watching when stuff gets, blown up or people get shot, you have no real story. You don't. You have a formula, you have a stereotypical scenario, but you don't have anything that's really going to stand out. And so plot is character. We want to watch this character start at the beginning in one place, and on the hero's journey or the character's journey, by the end of the film, they're in another place. They've grown somehow. They've learned something. They've changed in some way. And for instance, in Breaking Bad, he went from being a good man that by the end of the series, he'd become a horrible man. doing horrible things. And we watched him descend almost like Dante's Inferno, right? So that made it fascinating. How far down can this man go? This is when you have a great blend of character and plot, and they dance together, they move together, they are entertaining, engaging, intriguing, and they leave your audience satisfied, or they leave your audience excited and engaged and talking about it, maybe even arguing about the characters, but they are invested. And so with a good story, plot is character and character is plot, and they work together, and you as the writer, that is your job, to blend them in such a way that we don't notice, oh, here's where this happens and here's where that happens, plot and character-wise. We just go on this journey and we thoroughly engage in it, and we are thoroughly lost in that world until the very end. And then quite possibly we're talking about it for days, weeks, or months thereafter. Or in this case, with a couple of the films, years after. So anyway, that's all I have to say about this. Again, please, if you have a great plot, develop the characters so that we believe these individuals are going through this thing, and we care, and we want to find out what happens and how they make it or don't make it, and what happens in the very end. That's your job. Do that. You leave your audience satisfied, and especially if you've been paid to do this, you get a nice bump in your bank account. Take care. See you next time. Leave comments or questions below or in the comments box, or email me, or anything else that would make you happy, and I'll see you next time.